how crazy the world is. I needed that hour. I was gonna really use it, like to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And here we
So let's talk about that, Latoria.
are. Okay.
Your life
Mhm.
is all about serving other people,
Right.
and you're always putting everyone else's needs,
Mhm.
whether it be for their career advancement,
Right.
personal needs,
Mhm.
family needs, all the things,
Yeah.
which does not necessarily come with the job of a publicist.
Right.
What do you do for your self care?
You know what? For my self care, sometimes it's just simply taking a moment and soaking in the bathtub. I'm a bubble bath type of girl. And as funny as this may seem, it may be hella stressful. And at 2 o'clock, I'm sitting in the bubble bath to release my mind, just relax my mind, and just to have some time. And that's something I do. Traveling is something that I do too. I feel refueled. When I get to travel, I feel like I get to really unplug and just enjoy that moment. And I've gotten to a point where when I do get vacations and stuff, I try to leave at least one of my phones in the room so that I'm kind of disconnected. And then the other one I use for photos or whatever it may be. So I've also learned to exercise my rights with Do Not Disturb. I'm like, if I'm on Do Not Disturb, it really doesn't mean call me 3 times until I answer. I'm on Do Not Disturb for like a reason. It's not always favored upon because I think people legit feel like I should be accessible whenever, however, and whatever they need. And maybe a part of that is my fault because early on, I I didn't notice that I was spoiling people until I kind of just took a step back and I was like, whoa, like this is a different level of love that I give to everybody. I don't know if I've ever really received it in that capacity, but maybe people feel like, oh, well, I can call because she's going to answer, not realizing that in the midst of you calling, I'm on a Zoom, I'm trying to help somebody with 50 different things. My mind is all over, but all you could think about is you didn't answer my call. And it's like, ah. But yeah, I think vacationing, I write. People would have no idea how much I write, like, and not just journaling. Sometimes for me to unplug, like, I take my mind to imagination, and I've written some pretty dope stories and maybe even a few books. I ain't putting it out, but yeah, that's my
Because right now the focus is on the clients, not necessarily your personal advancement. Just not
yeah,
yet.
not yet. Well, I think with again going towards writing and my imagination, I don't think people would probably know the type of writing style that I have. Like that's not it.
So, Latoria,
Yeah.
you're coming up, I want to say just 1 year shy of
Yeah.
making 15 years with Lemon Limelight Media, which is your entertainment,
Uh-huh.
publicist, media relations,
Right.
event production
Right.
business model that you created back
Yeah.
in 2011. And you have built quite a diverse portfolio since
Yeah.
then. When you initially got into this work, were you wanting to go the route of working so much in entertainment, or did you just want, or were you trying to go more for the corporate dollars and then it
Right.
just kind of happened where people just
Right.
kept throwing you these entertainer clients? Like, how did that go?
That's an excellent story. So or excellent question. My degree is in public relations. I didn't leave Houston to go to school for PR. I went to school for radio. That was the dream. But I got an opportunity, and my first opportunity was with Essence Magazine. So it kind of put me on a platform of entertainment, and then I started working on other accounts like the Oprah Winfrey Network and some other thing, BT and some other things. And so, although my degree is in public relations, my degree focus was nonprofit. No shade to nobody. I didn't like it. I didn't like nonprofit. I know it. I was good at it in terms of getting my degree, but all of my experience was in entertainment. So I technically, even though this is almost 14 with Lemon Limelight, I've been doing PR this is my sweet 16. So for 16 years. And so entertainment it's kind of something that I kind of got into, and then it kind of ventured into hospitality. I did a little bit of nonprofit every now and then. If it's something like a museum or something, I'll take it on. So, but entertainment is what I know. That's where my contacts are. So,
Do you ever have that desire now that you are in over a decade
right.
to kind of divert and go in a different direction?
All the time. I mean, this is something where I have to remind myself sometimes of purpose. I have to remind myself of, okay, keep going. Like you've hit some milestones. I'm counting on myself. Others are counting on me. I have a staff and a team that if I don't go get the bacon and cook it, then we don't eat. So I'm consistently just, trying to continue to elevate. But there's plenty of times where I get tired. There's plenty of times where I have to be silenced. There's times where I've looked around and other people's narrative is different. Probably because I said yes a million times and then I finally said no. So now your narrative is completely different, but you don't, it's almost like you're not recognizing all of the great things I did for you, except for the one time I said no. And especially in this season in life, my boundaries are more efficient than they've ever been. And so there's people that I've worked with for years that I've had to say, I think the time has come. I've watched people that I've helped, I've revived their careers, I've revived their businesses, and I'm like, wow, that's what you're telling people? That's what you're telling people I departed because of that?
Mm.
And not the realness? The realness is some of these people pay late. Some of these people are disrespectful. Some of these people think that, because they have a certain name, they shouldn't pay you at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, or some of these people just straight up lie. Like, oh yeah, baby, I got you tickets to this. I got you covered. And it's like, wow, you took care of the entire entourage, but the one person that is genuinely helping you behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and that genuinely has had your back through everything. So there's times where I don't feel like, I want to do this anymore. Because, just like there's church hurt and family hurt, there's client hurt too. There's a thing where you literally get up and give your all. I've walked some of my clients through the toughest times of their lives. And I mean from debts to divorces to separations to career, things. And then I'm going through a new season of my life and there's absolutely no grace for me. It's like, oh, well, still show up for me. Like, hey, I know your dad died last year. Or, I know it's a few months ago and you're dealing with this. But hey, I still need you to help me with this, and this. And I don't even want to pay you the regular regular rate.
Mm.
I want to get over on you in whatever way. They don't say it like that, but that's the reality. And being honest, we can say that sometimes in entertainment, it's very male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
I've legit sat on teams for years where I was the only woman.
Mm-hmm.
And sat in meetings where my ideas at the meeting were just kind of talked over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, well, it just, I don't know. We don't know if we're going to do that. And the next thing I know, you're doing it.
So as we're celebrating Women's History Month,
Yes.
and we're highlighting women and their accomplishments, having to juggle 1,000 different things in a
Yeah.
day, make time for yourself,
Right.
and also to work on your brand and
Yeah.
all the things so that way you can obtain a certain level of success.
Yes.
Truthfully, in any industry, it's always more difficult with a woman. We receive less capital when you want to build a business and things like that. So just like you're referencing the separation of personal and business because you do give so much to these people and
Right.
pour into them, to have to help them through a certain situation so they can still show up in their professional life but not extend you the same courtesy.
Right.
How do you feel being a woman that has this successful business that mostly has male clients that do not give you the respect in certain situations when you have provided so much for them?
It takes a lot. And you know, the cliche saying is, oh, never mix business with personal. Well, in order for me to do anything, I have to activate my passion, which that's a personal and a professional thing. And so it makes me look at things differently. And it, to be very honest, the past year I've done some deep evaluating on a career level, on a personal level. Who aligns with my vision? Who aligns with my mindset? Who aligns with my heart? And again, some business people like, girl, a check is a check. Some of these
No,
checks
check
come
is
with
no.
headaches.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these checks come with lack of gratitude. Some of these checks come with your hand is out 24/7, not having any idea that, oh, well, you know, after 7 I don't answer calls, or I go on do not disturb and you still calling, you know? So it takes having a certain level of self-understanding and being okay with, hey, if I step away from a situation, 9 times out of 10 I've prayed about it and I've told myself, hey, you've done all that you could and more. And don't feel guilty about it. Everything in life has an expiration date. Everything. Like I recently heard somebody told someone, oh yeah, man, I stopped working with her because she charged too much. I said, wow, that's really cool that they said that because they never paid on time and I gave them a discount.
Mm.
That's the part they didn't tell. I gave them a discount for 6 months. And on the month of their birthday, I didn't even charge them. There's rates, whether it's a DJ, publicist, or whatever. You go to other markets, Chicago, New York, LA, it's tripled whatever we're charging. Even if you charging 1,000, some people out here charge, and that's their and that's the standard. Because I could go to Atlanta, New York, and have an event or I do a campaign, and people write a check without thinking twice about it. Because that's
They'll be
the
like, "Oh, that's
standard.
all you charge."
Girl, I had Michele. We gonna talk like two women up in here, okay? I kid you not. I will forever appreciate this. I did an event in DC and I sent over this elaborate proposal. And it was a team of maybe 11 people. I got a strange number call me. It almost looked like it was scam likely. And this lady said, hey, this conversation never happened. I said, okay. She said, I looked at your proposal. I know your work. You came highly recommended. She said, every other proposal that we received was twice your price. She said, put some extra money on top. I didn't get a chance to say a word back. She hung up. And I appreciate that because I resubmitted that proposal and worked some more numbers and they accepted. But somebody stopped and said, hold on. And I'm like, well, in my market, this was the going rate. And folks still complaining about it.
More often, we need to be those people
Right.
to bring people along with us. And I had a recent conversation with someone in my life where they were talking about, especially when it comes to Black women and us having such a short amount of opportunity available,
Right.
which puts you into this competition mode, which that may not be your nature,
Right.
but you know, it might be something where, okay, both of us are business owners. We ultimately could come together, bring our network together, and we
Right.
really could progress and take over the industry. But a lot of times as a woman and as a Black woman, you might be looking at something like, oh, well, if this person really ain't got their sugar honey iced tea together, do I really want them to come in here and make me look bad in front of all these white folk? Or two, I don't really want this person to come in and make me look like I really didn't know what I was doing
Right.
versus just being like, you know what, let's network across
Right.
and let's help build each other up. But people like that in positions of power where they can correct a situation or at least make you privy
Yeah.
to knowledge when you have been so diminished in the work that you've done.
Exactly. But I think it's become one of those things where, again, we're kind of silenced, right? So, like, if we're used to working with a X amount of circle, and that circle, we know that if we want to stay in that circle, this what they charging. Although they got way more money in their budget is up for other things. They
Right.
didn't go to Range Rover and say, hey, I only got $200. They paid what they needed to for Range Rover. They didn't go to KB Homes and say, hey, we only got $1,000, so how we gonna get this house? So they pick and choose, but at the same time, I'm appreciative for people like that literally tell us, "Hey, we worked this budget." Because that to me that shows the ultimate level of they see value in us. And they know that we're probably going to give more than what those numbers equate
Mhm.
to in all honesty, And so I think that, if we do that more, that'd be helpful.
What has been the most difficult situation that you've had to overcome
Mm.
in your career?
I'll definitely say I have two possibly. Um, one, and this is just full transparent. One is having a successful company while opening another company, while navigating through life and grief and new feelings, and still having to literally like stand 10 toes down on whatever I'm doing. And that's just this past year. And I want to always be transparent about that because I feel like people see success or they see a picture and they're like, oh yeah, she's doing all right. It's like, baby, you don't know, I just came from grief therapy. So that's what's keeping me going. Or I just had to pray. I just had to encourage myself, And so that's one thing. A career moment that was probably the toughest for me. And again, I've been doing this 16 years and 14 years in business, had to have been George Floyd funeral services. Um, we literally had 9 days to do 4 services. And if you've ever been to any of our activations or seen any of our campaigns, they're pretty happy. It's fun. It's like listening parties and food tastings and all that stuff. So to not only do something that's sad, but it's the biggest story in the world. It was the pressure of stepping into a lane that I had never been in. It was the pressure of this man has a family and a community that deserves for his celebrations to be on point. Um, it was the fact of over 500 media outlets all over the world are picking up this story and calling both of my phones. Some of them don't even speak English. So I'm having to use one phone here and then Google Translate the other and it's like balancing all that. It's the 3 a.m. conference calls or meetings because when Al Sharpton calls you at 2 a.m. and say, hey, let's meet in the lobby of the hotel and we need to figure some things out. Okay. And that's a 3 hour meeting. And then you get up and you take a flight to the next city because this was um, something that was activated in 4 different cities. And then you come home and after the last funeral service, I literally took a day to just turn off my TV, turn off my phone, and just grieve because the rest of the world was grieving and I had to be in work mode. And it's all in the moment. I got a call on a Sunday. I was working out with my trainer at boot camp, and I got a call from the funeral director. By Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., I was already in Minneapolis. And it was like, we need this, 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 and this, and this. I mean, literally the craziest thing to think about because I know that God God gives you certain tasks that sometimes you're like, wow, like how did that happen? Like how me? And I just remember bringing Mr. Floyd's body back to Houston. That was supposed to be to the media, not for me, not for his family. That was supposed to be like the biggest story, like him returning back to Houston. And when his family told me, we don't want that to be a media moment, I said, okay. I never in my life thought I would be on the phone with chief of police for HPD, the airport. Um, I like literally had to stage like a whole thing. So I'll never forget. We got his body off of the flight. It's like 1 a.m. because we had to be discreet. We had to. Everything was strategic. And I had 3 hearse and Bobby Swearton with Fort Bend Memorial Planning Center. That's the funeral home that the family selected to head everything. And him and his team and the family hired me. We had 3 hearse out there. We went like on a dummy mission. We had motorcycles following each hearse on a dummy mission. And the real hearse ended up where we needed it to be, and no media was there. And I just remember the family telling me, thank you.
So let's talk about that
Mm-hmm.
because while the entire world, his family most importantly, was grieving
Mm-hmm.
the murder of George Floyd, and other people outraged for different reasons, basically sparking an entire civil rights movement
Right.
during a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You had to shut all of that out and you
Right.
had to suppress all of those feelings
Yeah.
to do a job. So, fast forward as we're coming up on the 5th year of the
Right.
anniversary of his
Mm-hmm.
death, and we now have an administration that is doing a call of action to do a federal pardon for Derek Chauvin, who is the officer who was found guilty, went through due process, all the evidence found guilty on federal and on state charges. To hear something like that present day, how does that make you feel?
Disgusted. Um, I think we're living in such an unfair society right now. I hurt for Mr. Floyd's family, who several of his family members I've become close with. They check on me, I check on them. I hurt for them. I hurt for everybody that stood 10 toes down during that entire process. I hurt for everybody that utilized their voice, because right now it's like we're voiceless. That's what they're trying to make us, voiceless. And they're trying to show us that whatever y'all did back then, it's not relevant now. And that's the sad part. Um, I I really just become at a loss for words with a lot of this, because it's so unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I just don't know and understand, like, how did we get to this point? We kind of unlocked a layer of fight during that time and unified healing that now it's like taking us backwards. And that's the most unfair thing. So to tell us that that no longer mattered, bogus. It's bogus. It's evil. It's so evil.
Do you feel like you're living in your purpose?
I do. I feel like I'm living in my purpose, but I feel like purpose has layers. So in this season, I'm living in my purpose. I feel like I'm on a different assignment right now. And that assignment is showing those that may be experiencing a tough time that you can still push forward. Every day is a push for me. My best friend is in here. She came to visit yesterday. And
Hey, best
hey,
friend.
Brianna. And we hadn't seen each other in like a year. So she had my god baby last year. And my friends would probably tell you this too, like my core village, like I've kind of been to myself a lot. Like I ain't really calling everybody and texting everybody like I used to, because I'm learning myself again. And her and I, we sat on the couch yesterday, and before she could even say, how you doing, I said, let me grab my tissue box. Like because in this space of life and in relearning who I am and re-identifying my purpose, there's a certain level of loss. And loss isn't always bad, because that means that you're finding out different things about you. And that means that you're navigating. And so in learning the new me of life, I'm learning what I like, what I don't like, what I shouldn't have tolerated, what I'm okay with tolerating. And I'm learning to be okay with having a purpose that don't look like what everybody think I should be. PR may be expired for me here soon, and that's for me. I know you want to get 6 months of retainers, but for me, I don't know if that's still something that I have another 15 years in me to do.
And we go through different chapters, and
We
it's
do.
okay for you to switch your career path
Yeah,
and to lose interest in something that you once had a love for. I know that
exactly.
we tend to want to hold on to
Mm-hmm.
something because we feel as though we will be lost in translation with our
Right.
own identity.
Yeah.
But I love that you're open to embracing something
Mm-hmm.
different. But for right here and now, you are still
A
in the business
publicist,
of public
yes.
relations.
I
So
am.
I'm curious to know,
Mm-hmm.
with the introduction of even more AI, Chat
Yeah.
GPT, how do you see that ultimately impacting the world of public relations in the next 5 to 10 years?
There's going to be a huge impact. I think in the world of media in general, a part of it is scary. Let's be honest. Because I'm a girl where if something goes down and I have to write a press release, I've written press releases on the side of the road and made it happen. Whereas now people that may have, you know, received my services for press, they could go to Chat GPT and it's like, hey, write a press release about Michelle coloring her hair
Exactly.
red. And before you know it, it's like Michelle, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
And it's like,
Okay.
okay, all right, okay. Okay, I didn't know we was doing it like that. And that's less than 5 minutes, where it
Yeah.
may take me an hour to curate or 2 hours to go do some research and things of that nature. So I really think it's about adapting. It's not one of those things where you're going to be able to beat it. So if you can't beat it, join it. And I do want to educate myself more about it. I hope it don't take all of our jobs, but it's definitely a space that we're in and that we have to get accommodated with. Now, I know that there's some services that AI will never be able to do. You ain't gonna never be able to do no red carpet AI. You can't do no red carpet like Latoya, okay? No, but I think there's still room for us to still have services. It's just a matter of like really hounding in and learning.
What do you want your legacy to be, personally, professionally, otherwise?
Can I tell you something?
You can tell me something. You can
Okay.
tell me a lot of things.
Okay. This question is scary to me because I've watched so many interviews, and when people start talking about their legacy, we end up replaying this moment. But I'm a trusting God that, baby, I got another 90 years
You've got
in me.
tons.
We
You're
got
gonna
another
live
90 years.
a long life, Latoria.
Exactly. There we go. I got too many more assignments. But as far as legacy, I want to be known as someone that opened doors for others, someone that allowed her heart to lead her, someone that stood 10 toes down in her beliefs and on her beliefs, someone that had integrity and has integrity, because I think that that's such a lost thing, especially in the space of like users. I want to be known as someone that set the bar but didn't push people down. Actually, I show people the game more than anything. There's some young publicists in the city, and people would never know that when there's projects I can't get to, I pass it to them and still mentor them along the way. Like, hey, do this, or hey, reach out to this person. And some people probably would say, well, if you're doing all that, why you just didn't do it yourself? Because that's their door. I just opened it for them.
In this month of March in 2025, if it's anything else that you could be doing, what would that be?
Oh, Lord, on a vacation. That's the honest truth. Right. On the beach.
Just take a sabbatical for like a year.
No, for sure. I kid you not. My friend Devin, Devin is she's an event coordinator and just an amazing human. And I love you, Devin. Thank you for everything. Her and I were texting last week, and she said, what would you really want to do? And I said, I would like to take a year and just backpack around the world. She said, girl, are you serious? I said, yeah. She said, well, let's do it. And then I started thinking about it. I said, well, now I got time to do that. But it sounds great. I mean, like, literally, like, I don't want to have to worry about rent. I don't want to have to worry about all these other things. It's just like me and my lemon backpack going around the world, exploring, doing some hiking, all that. Like that would be like a dream come true. Now, is it realistic for me? I'm not really sure. But even if I did it for like 2 weeks, I think that would be the modified version of what I really want to do. But I think it would be kind of
A
cool.
year down to 2 weeks.
I know, that's a lot.
Maybe 2 months.
Child,
2
it's
months
going
or
to take me
something.
right to Conroe.
Or hill country.
That's it. We ain't going that far. But yeah, I mean, maybe 2 months. 2 months could work. Yeah.
I always see this quote come across my timeline every now and then, and
Mm-hmm.
I just started taking it as a sign.
Yeah.
And it's the quote from Jim Carrey where he said, if you can't take a year to downsize to ultimately meet your goals, then you care too much about what people think.
Ooh.
And I had to adopt that, in my own, because being a professional woman,
Mm-hmm.
not married, not
Yeah.
having any kids,
Right.
in your 30s, okay, what is it that I'm really spending this money for?
Right.
What am I doing in this? What am I trying to prove at this point? Which, how you talk about having a passion for something, and then eventually you do get to this big-ish age, we'll say, because we have many more. We have many more summers. We have many more summers.
Exactly.
But you start to really think more so just about like what's your purpose and intent, and what am I doing this for now,
Right.
versus why did I initially start out on this path. And so I want to encourage you to explore that. If you want, if for some reason your spirit is saying, sis, let's go ahead and catch these hostels.
Yes, let's
so
do
you can
it.
live life on a budget and
Yeah.
experience things. I encourage you to do it, because I want to say, and I'm big on now trying to save these little nuggets when you do get stuff, because it's so much BS that comes across that you absorb from social media. So when you see a gem, taking that, and even with Sade, she was saying, I think that it's crucial that sometimes you do have to step away, so that way, you can really see, do I really have the same passion that I initially did? And it helps you to recenter yourself, to just be in touch with what your heart's desire is and what is my calling right now.
Yeah, that's the truth. I'm with you.
So
I'm
you
gonna
can
give
see
it a
if you
try.
still want these men to be out here testing you and
Girl.
testing your thug.
Try the thug in me. Woo! I know what direction I want to go in. I'm just not ready to verbally say that, but I see God already aligning it for me.
3 things that you want to check off your list. We're still in first quarter, so
We
even if you're still
are.
building that list, it's fine.
I'm building that list. I definitely want to explore my options of motherhood. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever that may look like. I definitely want to visit 3 new countries, because I'm so stuck on Cabo. I just go there every year. I got to expand my horizons.
You do so.
I do. I mean, I've gone some other places, but when it comes to it, I'm like, let's just go Cabo
Right.
all the time. I also want to be okay with basking in a new journey that I'm on. That's kind of a career journey, and it's
Exciting things are on the way for you.
It's exciting, and I'm not
You
used
can't
to
even sit
it.
still.
I
Look
can't.
at you,
I'm like, ooh, are we really here? Like, what are we doing?
You seeing this bestie?
Yes, she knows. It's like, and it's been 2 years in the making. She's been a part of the process of it. So it's like birthing something brand new. And it's like what Erykah Badu said, like, keep in mind I'm an artist, I'm sensitive. So, it's a sensitive space, and then it's also a space where it's totally different from my behind the scenes work.
Bestie, since you're here, do you want to hop on the mic and say what you're proud of your friend? Since you're here.
Sure, I have to, right?
Yeah, you should. I'm gonna let you go right over there and enjoy yourself.
I guess I'll say that I am so proud of you and the woman that you've blossomed into. But I think the most important thing is that you stay true to who you are. Like you've always been Latoria, you've always been toward me, whether that's, our long hours at Woody, the AUC library, up until like graduating, moving back to Texas, to Houston to do your thing, and even some of the things that you're doing now. I mean, your work and just doing it with grace has really been eye opening to me, and it's been impressive. I've known like the great things that you do and some of the things that you have to turn down, and
Now,
understand like
bestie,
the
we ain't got no
industry.
tissues in
Right,
here.
the industry that you're in, but I'm proud of you and I love you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You
I
know
love
I
that.
am. You know I
Yes,
am.
this my girl. I'm proud of her too. I am. I'm a brag on my best friend from Oak Cliff. That we went to undergrad together at Clark, Atlanta. She went on to get her MBA, and she also has her JD from Southern University. She's
Yeah.
a amazing wife, amazing mother. That's been my best friend since we was 18. I'm not gonna tell people how you didn't like me at first, but then no. It's God is a way maker. He's a way maker. We healing
She's
from
just a
that.
more friendly friend.
Yeah.
She's the
Yeah.
friendly friend. I'm getting there.
You are. You getting more friendly, but it's a balance. And
I actually think some of the best friendships come from when you weren't really feeling each other at first, because
Yeah.
then those are the people you can tell the truth to.
it really is. Because when we first met, and it wasn't beef or anything, we were both running for a class position in
Yeah.
SGA in school. And so I was the girl, hey, I'm Victoria Lemon. She was like, oh, calm down.
Ah,
Bree, you was, Bree.
said, "Oh,
Everybody
calm."
does. You was like, ooh, take it down a notch. You did. You was like, take it down a notch.
Okay, what are the signs? What's your sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Taurus.
And I'm a Gemini.
Actually, I don't even know what that compatibility is.
It's not. I mean, people don't talk about it a lot, but it's it's not a lot of similarities in
Yeah.
terms of personality, but quality it is. So
Yeah.
yeah, understanding for sure. And I think, like you said, the best friends have balance. You
Yeah.
know, there's been some times in life where it's like, all right, I'm the rock, you the rock. You know, we kind of take turns, and even like in this season, she was like, I gotta just stop what I'm doing and come and just put my eyes on you, and that meant a lot to me because. It's one thing for us to talk on the phone or text or we send memes and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
it's another thing for somebody just to say, I just need to see that you was okay. And again, we hadn't even sat down for 5 minutes. Like, my tissue box, but it was a safe space. And in
Yeah.
life, when you find a safe space, you just kind of have to, rock it out. And I love that God has provided me with some safe spaces. I am Latoria Lemon, the owner of Lemon Limelight Media. It's me versus me. Happy Women's History Month, ladies.